You know, I don't think I will ever get tired of saying this. We back with a whole new theme, whole different league, but you still have the same fun that you're gonna have every single time you turn on this show. But just want to say thank you everybody for joining us for the Next Gen Racing League Super Power Hours. I'm your host, as always, Joshua Temple. I am joined by the best guys in the business for the first episode. Nepdog and Shiesty. Boys, welcome back.
Oh, buddy, here we go.
Here we
This is the
go.
start. This is the restart.
This is the restart to the start.
Yes, sir.
um, we
Man,
definitely.
it's
Nep, go ahead.
I said this. I said this last night. I missed this. So to be back in in the studio setting and to be doing the show, it just feels complete now. So I'm excited about this week's episode. I'm excited about you know n- new things to come. We're doing things over here, and I'll address this more here in a little bit. But we're doing things over here that haven't been done before, at least not with us. So some really interesting stuff going to go on.
It definitely will be. And first, I do want to congratulate you. You have a president spot in this league, so that is a big role to run. How are you fitting into that right now? How do you feel so far? I know it's only been maybe a month or so, but like in all reality, how do you feel being in this position?
Um, I think as in any position like this, you have your good moments, you have your bad moments. We have a great cast of um, committee members that really has stepped in there and helped with getting everything set up. We have two owners that are, you know, I've known for a long time, so it's good to be able to go to them and be like, hey, what's your advice on this type deal? Um, Trickle, he says, you know, Nep, I'm gonna be your assistant, and I gave him the title of VP because
Hmm.
he has really been literally he's been more than my assistant. He's been like my right hand man. He helped me. You know, he'll message me 1,000 times a day and like, hey, what about here's an idea I got. What do you think? Type deadly. I'm at work and we're just deadly texting back and forth. So it really feels like that business aspect. So I can't thank Trickle enough for what he has done to help get this league up and going and getting us all ready for and the whole committee aspect from Speedy, Shiesty, Big Mike. The list just goes on and on. I can't express how much it's been great working with them, and looking forward to seeing where we go from here.
Yeah, you got
It
it.
does,
Nice.
it does. With having a good base around you, it takes a lot of that weight off your shoulder. You're not having to make all the calls. You're not having to do everything yourself. So it really helps out to have that team to make things happen.
Yeah, it doesn't take just one; it takes a whole entire army. But with that said, let's go into our table of contents. As you guys see, we went with a comic book feature. Thank you, Shiesty. He brought up the idea. I loved it, and we are running with it. So I hope you guys enjoy it as much as we did putting it all together. But for table of contents, we're gonna go over each chapter that we're gonna be going through in this episode. Nep Dog's weekly race report. Nep, explain to him a little bit about what you're gonna be doing for that report.
Okay, basically, what I'm going to do each week on my report is I'm going to go over the Xfinity Series race. I'm going to go over the um, Cup races, um, starting, mention pole setters, mention stage winners, just typical race recap. Um, Also along that line, if there's any new league things need to come out, I'm going to address it at that point. Tonight, I'll be going over the the race manual. From the first page, which all the way to the back page. Which we'll discuss. We'll talk about you know how each races are going to be ran. Talk about touching a little bit as far as it goes for the hot seat waiver, stuff like that. So this week's episode, that's basically what that's going to be. Is be letting y'all know your schedule for Xfinity and for the Cup. We're going to touch on that. We're going to touch on the handbook and, get this thing rocking.
All right, we are looking forward to it. Shiesty's Eagle Eye. Shiesty, give him a little bit of what you got going on.
Yeah. So, sorry about that. So I decided to stick kind of with the discussion topic, but instead of just bringing random people in, we're gonna bring team owners in every so often. We're gonna either hand select or just get one of the owners to come in, and we'll kind of do a Q&A with them. I'm more than willing to get the chat to ask questions for the team owner. But yeah, that's kind of what it's about. We're just gonna sit and chat with team owners, see what they or get what they think about the lower divisions or the lower division, see who stands out and all that fun stuff.
And I hope you know you're not off the hook. I'm gonna make up some questions to throw at your ass because
Yes, sir.
you're the
Sounds
team
good.
owner. You need to get the questions asked to you. So I definitely will keep that tucked away for you.
Yeah, buddy.
And then a little bit about mine. Temple's Dramarama. Yeah, I can sit back and smile, but I'm also going to dive into some of stuff that happens within our league. No matter if drivers getting their tempers um, through the roof or their panties in a bunch, whatever the case may be, I'm there to cheer it on, figure out what's going on, and figure out how to de-escalate it. So I'm gonna be joking around with a lot of this stuff, but I'm also gonna be like, guys, just get over it. This shouldn't be going as far as it is. So that's what my segment's for. I'm gonna have fun with it. I hope you guys have fun with it too. But
And if it, and also Josh, with your
n-
segment, you know, down the road, if there's two drivers that are just maybe got a little differences to put aside with each other, maybe we try to get them on the
bring
show
him
and maybe
on.
they can kind of talk out their differences and because the ultimate goal is to get this league, everybody working together and having some fun, clean, but competitive racing. And with racing, there's going to be tempers flare on the tracks, but the worst thing that we could do is let it get the best of us. So if it becomes a situation where we've got two guys that just are bumping heads a little bit, maybe try to get them on the show so we can try to hash that out so that maybe they could become
I want to look at it
close knit or
as
something.
a racing Jerry Springer show. That's what my part's gonna be. So it's gonna be a good one.
Minus the midget strippers.
Yeah,
Josh,
we might bring him
Josh,
in.
Josh.
But let's get to it. There's a lot to cover. We are going right into the first chapter. Nep Dog's weekly race report.
Hmm. All right, got that out of my system. All right, basically, thank you everybody for coming in for this week's episode of Net Dogs Weekly Racing. Um, as many knows, I was appointed the president of the league. By all means, I am not the owner. I'm here to help oversee the aspects of day-to-day operations. Um, I'm not perfect. Everybody makes mistakes, and that's why we've got a great team to help out, But with that aspect, I'm I've always been a straight shooter. I come straight at you if there's an issue or whatever the case may be. I don't sugarcoat nothing. Um, my ultimate goal is to make this league the best league out there, and you know, I'm gonna have ideals that might benefit the the league, and I take them to the committee members. We talk about it, and if it's the right decision, we go with it. If not, we scraps that and go back to the drawing board. But in this week's episode, like I said a moment earlier, we're going to go over the handbook. We're also going to go over the schedule. Some people, they, because with chat it goes so crazy with everybody talking in there and all. We post stuff, the schedules, but they get lost in the conversation. So I'm going to really touch base on giving you the rundown of what schedules look like for both Xfinity Series and for the Cup Series, and then we're going to go over the rule books. So without further ado, let's start with the schedule for the Cup Series. We start this week. This week is our first week. Monday night, we're going to be at Michigan International. The following night, on Tuesday night, the 13th, we'll be running at Iowa. You go from a wide open Michigan Speedway to a technique style track. If you come out of 4 the wrong way and you touch that wall, it can send you clear across the track. So a lot of skill set there. Week 2, we keep on going. On Monday night, the 19th, we're going to be at Texas Motor Speedway. Tricky, it's a tight 1 and 2. One thing I've noticed from this game compared to Heat 5, 1 and 2 is so tight that it is hard to, if you don't lift a little bit or whatever, you can't just really run in there full fledged. You've got to, be on the binders and stuff like that, because otherwise you're going to find yourself in the wall. And then you always got that infamous coming out of turn 4, going into tri-oval, it's got a little kick to it. And if you catch it wrong, you're cutting grass. And then from Texas, the following night, we're at our first road course of the season, Watkins Glen. Fun, Watkins Glen is probably, I'm not a fan of road courses, but Watkins Glen is probably one of my favorites on the game. So I kind of look forward to Watkins Glen. Week 3, which would be January the 26th and 27th. Monday night, we're going to be at Phoenix International. And then wrap up that week at the massive Daytona International Motor Speedway, the first super speedway of the season. And that's going to be one of them races, tight, pack racing. Never know what. The thing about super speedways is it's anybody's race. Following week 4, we have, which is February 2nd and 3rd, we'll be at Vegas and Martinsville, the fun paperclip of Martinsville. Week 5, February 9th and 10th, Bristol Motor Speedway, and my backyard, Charlotte Motor Speedway. Week 6, February 16th and 17th, Worldwide Technology on Monday night, followed by Richmond on Tuesday night. The action just keeps going. The setup that the committee and all sat down and made this schedule, they made it a real competitive schedule. So week 7, we'll be at we got 2 new tracks that we didn't get to run in Heat 5. So it's going to be fun to run. We got on Monday the 23rd, we got Nashville. And then on February 24th, Chicago Street. I will say I'm not ready for that, but by the time we get there, I'm going to be ready. I got a great team owner that's going to help me get ready for it. So, week 8, we're going out there March 2nd and 3rd. We're out at the Tricky Triangle of Pocono and a fun track of, I'm calling it Baines World, because every time we ran there in the off season, Baines have just been a car to beat, and that's Kansas. He is. I will say this about Baines: he is awesome when it comes to those 1.5-mile tracks. He's fast, clean guy, great guy to run with.
Sounds like you're gonna have something to learn there.
Yeah, I'm going to learn. Week 9, we're back at another road course for Monday night, March 9th. We got Coda. And then we've got March 10th, we got Homestead. Well, then week 10, we go into All-Star Week. Monday night's race will be a points race at Dover. And then on the 16th, and then on March 17th, we got the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro. So I'm not going to give in all the details, but the committee and all, we've talked about fun ways to do the All-Star race. We're still kicking it around, but we will have it finalized way before we get there. But going to North Wilkesboro, another new track that we didn't get to run in. So looking forward to that. Then we pick back up week 11. We're back on the hunt, trying to chase down to the playoffs. And we have March 23rd and 24th. We got Talladega Motor Speedway, big, massive Talladega, and then finish out that week at Charlotte Roval. So the Super Speedway and then the Roval. So interesting week right there. Week 12, we're going to be at Indianapolis Motor Speedway on the 30th, and on the 31st, we're at Darlington, the Lady in Black. Week 13, the last week of the regular season, we're going to be on the April 6th, we'll be at New Hampshire, and April 7th, we'll be at Echo Park there in Georgia. So, and here's the thing, and I'll discuss this when I go to the rule book. One thing that we have decided, the playoffs, it's a point-based thing. So, if you come out there and you win a race, that's not going to lock, this time around, it's not going to lock you into the playoffs. So it's real important that you show up for all these races, because just because you win a race isn't going to secure you a spot in the championship, in the playoffs. So it's a point based. But the round, the first round, the round of 16, instead of 3 races, we're doing 2 races. We got Texas and Phoenix. 2 interesting tracks there. Then week 15, we got the round of 12, and we've got, which would fall on April 20th and 21st, we got Watkins Glen, and then we're at Michigan. So we're winding down. We go into week 16, which is April 27th and the 28th. We got Vegas, and then the elimination race there at the Worldwide Technology. Then the championship week. And this is where it changes up. In the past, we've always ran, in other leagues, we've ran 1 race to determine the champion. Well, we felt anybody could get lucky in 1 race. So what if we extended out the championship week to 2 weeks and throw in 4 races in that championship aspect? So for the first week of the championship round, May 4th and 5th, we got Dover and Martinsville. And then the final week of the season, and to crown a champion, May 11th and 12th, we've got Sonoma, throwing a road course in there, and then wrapping up at Homestead. So a lot of big things going on. I enjoy the breakdown of this championship format, and with the 4 races to determine a champion instead of just one. I think that's going to be real interesting because you're not going to be able to just get lucky off of one.
We'll have no Joy Logano's. That's the
Right.
cool thing. I'm cool to see that. I always loved that type of format where it was just points based, and as you saw, Jimmy Johnson came out and fucking just made that system his bitch. Um,
Yeah.
but it's cool to see this implemented. I think.
Because he was the best. That's the only reason.
I think that you're going to see this system 100% is going to benefit Samo. Samo is probably one of the best go-getters with points, hands down. And that man is going to be in his glory, just knowing, all right, it's a points game.
You know, I'm going to agree with you to a point there, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm also going to say this.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, you got proud.
For the
I like that.
for the past month, while you've been on vacation,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'm going to call it your little vacation. We've been running these preliminary races and all. And yes, Mo is a top running guy,
Mm-hmm.
but he's not the only one. We've got the Rebs, we've got the JPRs, we've got the Baines, you know, we got the Shiesties, we got the Speedies. So I'm in past leagues and seasons and all that. I sat there and said, "Oh, Mo's going to be my number one pick for a championship." He's going to do great. He's Samo. He's kind of like a measuring stick, but I
Mm-hmm.
think he's going to have some competition this year. Honestly, this season. So I'm really looking forward to it. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, so that's out of the way. Now let's get to my Xfinity guys. Guys, y'all, this is something I want to make clear. The Cup guys, yeah, they're the Cup guys. Y'all are the future of this league. And the reason why I say that is because y'all's coming in. The Xfinity Series is going to be y'all's series this first season. All right. Cup guys, they'll be racing down there with you, but they're not racing for points. They could go for wins, but they're not getting points. There will be a separate Cup champion, and there's going to be a separate Xfinity champion. This is going to be y'all's proving ground, or not. I won't even say it a proving ground because this is going to be y'all's way to shine, so that when we go to season 2, y'all's going to be that upcoming rookie class that's moving up to the Cup series. To be that rookie class. The Xfinity Series is going to be used as the future for the league. As we go through the seasons and all, it happens in every league. Drivers decide to retire or whatever the case may be. But by having the Xfinity Series and bringing in new people in all the time, that is going to be the future of this league moving forward. But we look at their schedule, and they themselves, they've got a good little schedule. We got week 1, which is this Sunday at Michigan. No, scratch. We're going to be at Charlotte. That's right. That, Josh, your picture
Yeah.
is not updated.
No, I know it's not because you guys had this before. That's kind of what I got stuck with.
Yeah. Yeah, but we have switched it because, unfortunately, the game at this moment, Michigan is not a raceable track in the Xfinity Series. So thank you, Baines, for bringing that to our attention before we got to Sunday night and found this out. But we're going to be at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The following week, week 2, we're going to be at Texas Motor Speedway on January the 18th. Dang, I need to get my eyes rechecked. Week 3, y'all's tackling a road course with Watkins Glen on the 25th of January. February 1st, week 4, y'all, the Xfinity Series will be running at Phoenix. For the most part, this schedule lines up in a sense with the Cup Series. Minus a few ticks here and there. Week 6, I mentioned, at Kansas. Week 7, Talladega Motor Speedway, February 22nd. And then we roll into the month of March in week 8. March 1st, Pocono. Week 9, March 8th, we get to try out. And by that time, the track should be downloaded into the game. We're looking at running at Portland. We have talked about this. If for some reason we get to that point and Portland has not been added to the game yet, we have all came to an agreement. It's only right to still run some form of a road course. And so if we'll cross that bridge when we get there. We're looking forward to running at Portland, but if by chance we get to there and Portland's not on the game, be ready to run some form of a road course race. Then we go for our week 10. It's the All-Star week for the Xfinity guys. With March 15th, the All-Star race is at Rockingham. So both of the All-Star races in the Cup and in Xfinity are 2 new tracks. So looking forward to that. Week 11, the last week of the regular season for the Xfinity, we have Nashville. And then here comes the playoff, round of 8. We have a 3-race for that round. We got March 29th, Iowa. April 5th, we've got Vegas. And then the elimination race, April 12th at Daytona. So, that's going to be fun to watch. Then from there, we're in our championship 4, which is 4 races, just like the Cup. April 19th at Martinsville, April 26th at Dover, May 3rd at Worldwide Tech, and finishing out May 10th at Homestead, where the champion will be crowned. So, a good little competitive schedule for the Xfinity guys, and I have gotten the ability to be able to race with some of these guys, be it practice or in the preliminary races and all, and I could throw out a couple of names, not just talking about some of the veterans that we know that we've raced with in the past, but some of the new guys. EMC Heavy D is going to be a great guy to run with. Mountain Man, he's a new guy. The list just goes on and on. Speedy has done a phenomenal job as the head recruit for bringing guys into the league and all that. And I've got to give Speedy the credit where credit is due. He's really took the time in posting and replying back to these guys that are interested in the leagues and bringing them over and getting with them and letting them know how things are done and all. So hats off to you, Speedy.
Hey, give
Great
that
job.
man an 8-ball and he'll do whatever you need him to do.
So I look forward, and I wish that they would put a spectator mode in this game, because I would love to just be a broadcaster for the Xfinity races and just watch them guys race.
As a full-time, hopefully, runner of the Xfinity Series this season, I'm excited for it. It looks like a good, solid schedule. I mean, there's some question marks in there with some of these races, which is going to keep it very interesting. I'm ready for it. It's going to be fun. And
Right.
This is a special shout out to L'Achille. I'm beating you in Rookie of the Year, kid. That's all.
We got a little. Shicey sounds like we got a little rivalry brewing over there in the Xfinity Series.
Oh shit!
Yep,
We're gonna have to
Mila Killa,
get
baby.
that in Josh's segment.
Yep,
Um,
I'll put it in there, dude.
we've got me and Bames over in the Cup series, and we got Lakilla and Josh in the Xfinity series. So it's gonna be fun. That's for sure. Um, all right. So now it comes time to go over the rule book, guys. And I'm gonna try to make this as quick as possible, so we're not here all night. Page 1 is the league structure. Um, owners. Okay. Uh, since he just popped in here, and he is my VP, I'm gonna let him also jump up here and help me. Let me introduce you, everybody, Mr. C. Trickle. Trickle, welcome to the live, buddy.
What's going on, guys?
Another day in paradise.
I hear you.
um, Trickle put this rule book together. He sat down and created, wrote, took everything that we put into play and put it down on ink and put it instead of just on notebook. He made it really look uniform and all, and it looks like a legit, rule book and all that. So, hats off to you. But first thing to cover our league structure. We have, you can call them levels, you can call them whatever you want, but there's kind of like 4 tiers to it. The number 1 tier is our owners. Shout out to Rowdy 1078 and MBFTF. They're our league owners. Anything, of course, they'll sit there and argue with us and be like, no, everybody gets to say, but the final say, we run it through the leader, the owners, Tier 2 is the race operation, which consists of myself as president and vice president, which would be Trickle. Then we have our race committee, and it's a list of guys. Wolfie Man, Big Mike, Speedy, Shiesty, Shimo. I think that's it. So, that's the race committee. We all get together, talk about topics, and how to make this league run like a well-oiled machine. But then the last tier of it, which to me is probably one of the most important levels of the tiers, and that's the league drivers. Because if it wasn't for the drivers, there would be no league. So y'all, y'all had, by all means, if you're not a committee member but you've got ideas or whatever, shoot them to one of the committee members. By all means, we're open to any suggestion to make this league run smooth. Trickle, you want to take race committee?
Yeah, and I can. And I'll touch base on the race committee and kind of the thoughts behind the race committee is their role is to gauge and talk with the drivers and get feedback while coming up with their own feedback throughout the season of what's working, what might not be working. Guys, this game's going to be a work in progress. Mechanics aren't always the greatest either. So we're trying to play with things to figure out how do we get the cleanest racing, the cleanest long green flag runs. How do we make it the best possible experience for everybody? And we decided to do the race committee, and that's where the league drivers and the race committee come together. If you look at section 1, members of the race committee are members who will participate as much as possible in both series to gauge what is working, what is not working during the season, listen to driver feedback as well as create their own. And then it goes into 2. Committee members will come together in the off season along with ownership to propose ideas, rule changes, format changes, or any tweaks of any kind that they will think will make for a better league and put them up for a proposed vote. If a member's proposal gets voted on and approved, then the committee and ownership will make the change or tweak, and the new idea will get implemented in the following season. So that's kind of the idea behind the race committee.
Right, and let me add this out there. Yeah, we have a set committee right now. By all means, guys, you're coming in new to this league and all. Like I said, your opinions matter. We want to hear those suggestions. And if down the road we feel we need to add another member here or there, or somebody decides to step down from that role, your activity and conversations and coming with suggestions, it wouldn't be nothing for us to come together and be like, hey, what if we brought so and so up to the committee? I think he's put in some valuable information and all, and has helped out a lot. I think he'd make a good person. So there's always potential in this league to advance. You know, if you're not in the committee right now, that doesn't mean that you're stuck as just a driver. There's always an opportunity to maybe move up to a committee member, or even a team owner down the line, or you never know, could end up in the main office. So I want to make that very clear.
One
All
last
right,
thing on that too is being that it is
go ahead.
so new, and we do have a lot of new guys coming into Xfinity. Maybe we got some veterans in the Xfinity level too. Obviously, we have Dingle expressing interest to join Xfinity as well now. Maybe some of those veterans and maybe a mixture of Xfinity guys that are doing well in Xfinity and maybe don't get moved up, but maybe they join in to be committee members and give ideas for how they can better the lower series or the Xfinity series, right? Like, how do we? So it's not just gonna stay it's never gonna stay the same. It's gonna be fluid. We're gonna make changes and we're gonna roll with it.
Right. You know, we might down the road, it might come up that we've got owners over here in the Cup. We might throw owners in the Xfinity series. There's a lot of great things that we can do with this league. So I'm really looking forward to it. Moving on from that topic, next thing we're going to be looking at is the Next Gen Cup Series, and there are some of the things on here that we're still adjusting, but for the most part, main thing, everything is pretty well. Most of it is edged in stone. We will be running at 50% race length. The wear, we've been testing with 4 times wear and 3 times wear. By the first race, Cup guys, we're going to have a guarantee whether we're going to run 3 times wear or we're going to run 4 times wear. Black flags will be on, so make sure you're slowing down and paying attention to the pit speed, because this game will give you a speeding penalty. No custom setups. To keep it on a level playing field, we feel in the best interest for the league and everybody that's coming up and all that we just make it a standard. If there's any adjustments during pits, that's one thing, but at this moment, we're not going to have a custom setup league. No driving aids. We all run on expert. Ones that, if you're not, if you need help, reach out to a committee member, reach out to a team owner and say, hey, I'm just not quite grasping this. Can you help me out? Everybody in this league, be it a committee member or just a regular, driver, almost everybody is real helpful, and we'll sit there. All right, well, what's your game settings? There's your problem. You're down here in the basement. You need to be up here in the attic, type deal. So by all means, if it's just something that's just not quite controller guys, this game has became, to me, it best benefits people on the wheel. But we do have guys that are on controllers that are running just as good as the guys on wheels. If you're on a controller, get with those guys that's on controller and try their controller settings. The ultimate goal is to have everybody in the Cup and having one big Cup, and having our Xfinity Series and just basically having great, clean racing. Paint schemes, custom paint schemes are allowed. I've been holding off on having the Xfinity guys pick numbers because with this new update that's supposed to happen sometime this week, one of the things that's being added is you can run any number. I think it's from 00 all the way up to 99. You don't just have to run a select amount of custom numbers. And that's one thing that I enjoy is like in the Discord chat is everybody posting their custom paint schemes and all. So I'm really looking forward to that. That way we can get everybody, get them a number, and then see all these cool custom paint schemes that they can come up with. Number 2, cautions. It for the Cup Series, it's still one of them subjects that we're kind of kicking around. It's one of those. For right now, we're going to be practicing throughout the week, and before race time, we'll have a decision on if we're going to run strict or relaxed cautions. There's pros and cons to both aspects, the strict and to relaxed caution. One thing under strict cautions, one person taps the wall and spins out, caution comes out. And if it's a tough track, a small track, and there's a lot of instances like that, the race is ruined by a crap ton of freaking cautions, and nobody's enjoying the race. All right. But then you go to but then in the same sense with the strict cautions, one of the benefits to strict that's a downfall to the relax is you're out there running, and we had this the other night. 2 or 3 cars get into a wreck, and we run underneath relaxed caution, and a caution never came out.
And it happened to me 3 times.
Yeah, and it just ruins your race. It's one thing if one car spins out into the infield, but whenever 2 or more cars get involved in a wreck, a caution should come out. I wish that they had a setting on the game that whoever the lobby host is could push a button and a caution come out. Of course, granted, you would have to have a lot of trust in whoever starting that lobby that they're not just going to throw a caution just to throw a caution. But
And I'll say this about that too is, again, this is where we ask the drivers and everybody to bear with us with whatever we choose, because if we end up going with strict yellow and it becomes a caution ridden race, like, we're going to be aware of it. We're going to try to make the tweaks. And this might be something we just keep tweaking throughout the season to try to make the best racing possible. But we can't get upset about it. We just got to accept it, and let's just make the best of it without getting too toxic about it, and just go with it, because we're going to try to make it the best we can.
Right. The next thing to discuss is qualifying. We're doing something different over here. And before we get in the lobby, a big lobby of everybody's racing, and we put it on like 4% or 7% or whatever it is, and we go out there. But the problem we were having is with the bigger fields and on some of the smaller tracks that people accidentally get into each other, you spin out or whatever, and it just ruins your chance of qualifying. So what we took into play is a group qualifying. We tested it out. The majority of the league, it was a league-wide vote, and the majority of the league enjoyed the group qualifying. It's taken 3 different guys and given them a group of guys to qualify with. So instead of having 20 people on the track at one time trying to get a good, clean, fast lap in, now they're in a lobby with just maybe 6 to 7 guys, which gives more room to where you can get a good qualifying in. Qualifying as of right now is on Sunday nights before the Xfinity race. What we'll do is we'll run the 2 Cup race qualifying. Then we'll run the qualifying for the Xfinity, line up, and run the Xfinity race. So, and touching on the next thing, qualifying format, 2-time race length, no yellows, group qualifying, A, B, and C. Both tracks on the schedule will be done back to back in the qualifying session for the week. One thing that we decided, because we go back to Monday night, we ran a race with the Xfinity and we did the group qualifying, but with new people and not knowing how to do it, it took us longer to get loaded into the groups to qualify, so it took longer for the process. So what we're doing is we're actually going to assign the same 3 guys that runs the groups over in the Cup. They will come over, and we're gonna have assigned all season long. You're going to be in the same group. So, I've got it wrote down somewhere. I will have it posted once I get it finished, finalized, and all that. But Shiesty, you're one of the group leaders, so you're going to have an assigned X amount of guys that you're going to be able to set up a little PlayStation group, so that you can just send out a mass invite to just that group, and then that way only your people will get your invite. So, and I think that's going to help speed things up. So instead of every week, Group A's got these guys in there, and then next week Group A's got a different group of guys. Every week you're going to be qualifying with the same guys. So I think that's going to be real fun. And me and Trickle actually, I sat down with the Cup guys. I sat down, wrote down everybody. I just randomly put them down on a list of 1 to 15, and then I messaged him without him seeing my sheet. I said, "Hey, Trickle, I need your help. I need you to give me a series of numbers, random series number between 1 and 15. So he typed it all out, sent it to me, and that I went through there because he didn't know who was number 5 or number 6, and I was able to set up the Cup groups. So that's going to be an interesting thing, and I think that's going to help speed things up when it comes to the qualifying aspect.
Well, once guys get used to it too, it is really a very simple process, and it usually takes maybe 8 to 9 minutes tops, and you're done with qualifying. So,
right. All right. Next thing, inaugural season will start with 4 Cup teams. First season we'll pick teams via Cup draft, snake style draft. Initial Cup roster will have 18 drivers in total. First 2 teams in the draft, order will each draft 3 drivers, and and it shows a little diagram of how we did the draft for those that was not on last night. These teams will remain in place into every season past season 1. Well,
just basically no more draft. After this, it's going to be all transaction and off-season transactions.
Yep. So, this would be the one and only draft for the league. We've talked about some things to come for season 2, but we don't want to really let those cats out of the bag. We're going to let those, we'll wait until the off season to really talk about that stuff. But if some of the things take place, I think it's really going to benefit the league, and we're going to have a lot of fun with that. So now, of course, naturally, team owners can create team names, make in-season and off-season transactions such as drivers trade, placing drivers in free agent in the off-season, move a driver down to Xfinity and call. Here's the thing, and unfortunately, it happens. People, you have life outside the game, and your shift might change, and you might go from a first shift to a second shift, and you can't run anymore. At that point, you would go to your team owner and be like, "Look, I just can't run anymore. Hey, if things change, come back, let us know." But the owner shouldn't be penalized by losing a driver. So at that point, they could sit there and, because they've been watching, they've been scouting the Xfinity guys, they can go down and pick up an Xfinity guy and bring them to fill that event. Or something comes up and one of their guys has to miss a race or miss a couple races. The team owner will have the ability to bring and that's something that Trickle will touch when we get to it with the hot seat and all that. But they'll have the ability to pull a driver up from the Xfinity to run those races to help their team out. That also, if you get that opportunity, I will say this: that's going to really help you when it comes to the off season and being moved up here. So, there's all type of benefit. Also, if there, and I knock on wood, it don't happen. If there's an issue with a Cup guy, and we feel at that point, that the committee spoke, and that person, it's in the league's best interest that we move them down to the Xfinity Series. It's something that we're willing to do, and if that happens, but we'll talk about possibly replacing. We'll talk about replacing them with an Xfinity Series guy. So. Next slide. Cup team continues. If a Cup owner wishes to resign, they must nominate 2 drivers who wishes to take over ownership and present to the committee for vote and approval of next term owner. Meaning, Shiesty, if you decide you don't want to be an owner anymore, your team just, you would come to us and be like, "Hey, I've got to step down. I think Baines and this person would be a good candidate to come and take over the team." And, then we would sit down as the committee and we would come to a vote and go from there. The next team owner can change team name, but team roster will remain intact unless new trade or transactions are made. If a driver quits mid-season, the owner may look at Xfinity drivers to call up to replace Cup drivers who quit. If that Cup driver tries returning, they will return to the Xfinity field at the start of the next season and cannot immediately fill a Cup. So, if you're in the Cup series, and whatever the case may be, you decide to quit, well then a week or two later, you want to come back, we'll let you back at the beginning of the next Xfinity or during that Xfinity series, but you will not become back as a Cup driver.
Well, I think it means for the cannot fill it immediately Cup seat. Like I think you're out of the Cup season for you're not coming up on hot seats. You're going to be down in the Xfinity the following season. So, but it's all good. It's all the same.
Right. All right. The next thing to cover is the next gen House of Vets Xfinity Series. Races will be ran at 50% race length. As of right now, 4-time wear.
That should have been 3 times. I apologize.
Oh, 3 times. Okay.
Yeah.
3 times. I knew that was something we were talking about. So
Yep.
that was one of them. 3 times wear. Stages will be on. Black flags will be on. No custom setups. No driving aids. Custom paint schemes allowed. Qualifying. We touched on this a minute ago. Sunday nights. Prior to the race. Qualifying format 2% race length. No yellows. We can scratch that out. That single field because we decided to go with group qualifying. So that'll change. Qualifying, then immediately load into the race using qualifying time. lobby with up-to-date lap times from qualifying session, then it's race time, guys. So
Then, Neb, I can take 3 because it kind of starts to get into that hot seat stuff. And
okay,
just for sake of time, because I think I can get to the nitty gritty and kind of paraphrase a lot of this stuff because it's kind of wordy. But
no,
Xfinity drivers, honestly, the Xfinity level is just our main goal with the Xfinity, especially when we get new guys. We haven't raced around you, we haven't seen you. We want you guys to be competitive, but ultimately, it's more about what we're looking for is can you run cleanly around others? Are you forcing bad situations, which then end up causing chaos? Or are you like content with just riding behind somebody and then trying to make a move at the appropriate time to get around? And when we see that, we're going to incentivize those drivers, whether it's through hot seat or the big thing is 2 drivers mid-season will also be invited to the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro. And we are bouncing some ideas on how we're going to do that, whether one is a points leader and then one is voted up on who do we think is racing those clean races and able to do that. So there's one incentive. And then I think on the next slide is when we get into the hot seats.
yeah. Disclaimer: it is possible that no Xfinity driver gets voted. Yada yada yada. Point system will be conducted by MBF. League recruiting league recruit will be conducted. What's the hot seat? Did we miss? Okay, I guess that slide somehow got missed out.
Oh,
Explain.
well, I can
Yeah,
explain the
just
hot seat. So the hot seat is basically exactly kind of what we've already discussed, right? Like hot seat can be used in so many different ways. We can move a driver down. Maybe there's a personality conflict in the team and the driver's like, you know what, I'm just done. I'm not showing up anymore. And maybe an owner sends a driver down and now we're pulling up multiple hot seats until that owner says, you know what, I want to bring you on full time. Maybe it's trickle. I tell Speedy, man, I can't make the race. I'm gonna miss. It sucks, but you know, I got family, I got life. So Monday night, maybe even Tuesday night, maybe I'm out of town. Okay, well now Speedy's gonna say, well, you know what? Let me look at the Xfinity drivers, and I'll pull 1 or 2 up for the next 2 races, and you know, they'll get their points individually as a driver, and they will have points individually on the standings for themselves. But ultimately, it gives them cup race experience racing around the cup guys. And it also allows team points. So any points they accumulate will go towards the team for that team championship aspect, right? Like, because, yeah, we're going to have a champion, but you're also going to have an owner's championship, right? So it's, there's a lot of different things that we can do with it. And it's going to bring, I think, a really cool factor into this. But yes, if you're racing clean and you show that you have speed and you know you're showing that you have the potential to race in cup, then yeah, it's basically like auditions. And maybe you race on Speedy's team one week, but then you know Shiesty's like, man, I wasn't even looking at him, but damn, he did good in the cup race. Maybe I look at him for when one of my guys are out. So hot seat is gonna bring a lot of different factors to this, and I'm excited for it.
now I will touch on this, and I have, we have talked about this. I call it the Kevin Harvick effect, or clause. If you go back in NASCAR in 2001 when we lost Dale Earnhardt, Richard Childress made the decision to bring Kevin Harvick up to the Cup Series to fill that spot. Say there's a situation where, let's just throw Mountain Man in there. He's running real great. He's ran a couple hot seat, came up and filled in. He's done real good with the Cup. And somewhere along the line, one of the Cup guys quit or gets bumped down, and that owner decides, hey, I want to take a shot and bring him up to my team. But he was running so good in Xfinity that he's got a good chance of winning a championship, he will still be able to race in the Xfinity Series and compete for the championship over there. But then, because he's been called up here, he'd have the opportunity, depending on when it is in the season, he could potentially be such a good racer that he builds up points and then he could find himself in the championship and have a chance for competing for the championship in that, in both series. So, that's where those hot seats, if you get that opportunity and you think you're ready for it, when you get that call, that message from that team owner, I highly recommend you take them up on it because it can benefit you that week plus long term with the with all the cup owners. So, I call it the Kevin Harvick clause because you were running for points down here. Well, now you've been called up to the cup. There's no reason why you should have to stop getting points in the Xfinity. So you're going to be able to finish out down there and get chance at a championship plus compete up here for a championship. So,
And two last points with the hot seat. As like when you come up, if you get called up to hot seat for a race, like I said, it's individual points for you. You're not getting points for trickle. Like if I was to go out, like you're not coming in and just adding points to my total. I'm losing out on points altogether. It's individual for you and your name's on the season standings, which can come into play later on, maybe in the committee votes of who do we call up for, do we expand cup seats for next season? Maybe seeing, man, Mountain Man had, he had 48 points off of, one race, or he had 106 off of 4 races. Like, who knows, right? Like, whatever that looks like. And then the last point of it is if, let's say, Trickle's out and Nep, you're out and Shiesty has a driver out, well, then it's going to go down to the waiver, which maybe it's on a slide coming up. But just to touch base on that, it's just a rotating waiver starting with the last pick of the draft. They got the first one. It's kind of inverted. So let's say Shiesty would get the first pick because what if they're both going for Mountain Man? Shiesty would then get, okay, I get Mountain Man, and now Speedy has to pick somebody else because he was second on the waiver wire, whatever it was. And that's how that would work.
right. But, for the most part, guys, it's pretty simple, but it's self-explanatory. But by all means, if you ever want to know something, all you got to do is just ask, guys. We'll send you a message with it so you can look over it. If you still had questions, by all means, we'll discuss it with you. But that covers that aspect of my section. The last thing I'm going to talk about, it was last night, is the draft recap. We're so ready to get going. Well, we needed to set these teams up. So the draft was on the clock. We did it a whole complete different way than we had in the past. We, as the president of the league, I had it set up to where each team owner would privately message me their pick, and then I would announce it. So not even the other owners knew who was going to get picked. So they had to have, I'm not sure how Shiesty did it, but I'm pretty sure he had a list of everybody on his draft order of how he would pick. And he would have to, oh shit, that person off the board. Now, oh shit, that was going to be my next pick. So it made it an interesting situation, and I enjoyed the draft. But, we went, so for round 1, Trickle, you got the number 1 overall pick by Speedy. NASCAR picked second and grabbed Samo. Rowdy picked Trigun. Shiesty, you picked Bames. Round 2, it was a snake draft, so Shiesty started round 2. He picked up Wolfie. Rowdy would go out and pick up Reb. NASCAR would go out and pick up MB. And Speedy would pick up Beer Stick. Then we went to round 3, and Speedy got the first pick. And he would come out there and pick up Sharton. Sorry, I can never pronounce that name right. NASCAR would go out there and pick up JPR. Rowdy would pick up Big Mike. And Shiesty would pick up Rooster. then the final round came around. The last two full-time rides, Shiesty would pick up Nepdog, and Rowdy would pick up Ford. Last-minute situations, followed as NASCAR. Two part-time drivers, Josh and Heavy would go to teams, and that rounded up the draft, guys. The teams are set. We're ready to rock and roll come Sunday for qualifying, and then Monday night, first race at Michigan. So I know I'm happy with the team that I was selected on. Trickle, #1 pick of the draft. Congratulations to you. I know you're going to do great over there with Speedy. Y'all really gel together. So
Definitely wasn't a skill thing. I think it was based more off of chemistry than anything. So, I mean,
now,
it's. Go ahead.
oh, finish what you were saying, bud.
No, I was just gonna say, me and Speedy we get along well, and honestly, I don't even consider myself a first round pick. I just think it boiled down to chemistry, and I mean, hopefully, I can perform well for him. But I mean, dude, honestly, the whole field's stacked. I was doing mock drafts in my own head, and it was amazing how many times I could move people around and put people in different spots, and it just seems such like it's a tight field.
Okay. Now, the last thing I'm going to touch on, and Josh, I didn't tell you about this, so unfortunately, you don't have a slide for this. But
Yes.
in the heat of the moment, things happen. And as a president or as a committee member, we hold ourselves to a certain accountability. I'm not going to go in full detail, but there was an incident that happened the other night, and I'm a big enough man to admit when I did something wrong. Anytime there's an on-track incident, the ultimate goal is to do something to make sure that it doesn't happen again. The proper way is after the race, call the people out, call them into a private chat, discuss the situation that happened at hand. I did not do that. I have private messaged the person themselves, but I acted very unprofessionally on the way I handled this. And that I'm out here on a live broadcast feed so that everybody can hear. I do make mistakes. I do apologize. Rebneck, if you are in the podcast, publicly, I do apologize for my actions, and I hope we can move forward and have a great racing season. With that, I'm going to pass it on to Josh so he can bring in Shiesty.
All right. And now we're getting ready to hop into our next session, our segment, I should say, with the beautiful Shiesty's Eagle Eye. Shiesty, bring her out.
Oh, it's my turn?
All
I'm
yours.
just kidding. Yeah, I'm excited to get this segment going, especially as the season goes on. We'll get to see the Xfinity drivers run more, see who tends to trend towards the top, and who could possibly be a waiver selection for the upcoming season. As for this week, we invited Trickle for being a #1 pick and Speedy for being a team owner and having the #1 overall pick. Those are our guest hosts this week. And we've got questions set up for Trickle because, well, Speedy couldn't make it today. So, what do the hot seats bring to not only the Xfinity drivers, but the league in a whole?
I mean, touching base, kind of recapping on what we were talking about, I think it's going to bring a whole new dynamic. I think it's going to incentivize and entice and keep the Xfinity guys engaged while also really striving for clean green flag runs and racing around other people. But I also think it gives the owners a whole new dynamic and I think it's going to give storylines like for immersion. I mean, I just think as a whole, it's going to do a ton of things, and even stuff we probably don't even know that's even out there until it comes up. But I think it's going to make it exciting.
So, Josh, I'd like to ask you, as an Xfinity driver, how does this impact you, or how do you think this would impact the Xfinity series and how they drive?
Well, on a personal level, I'm part time in Cup race, so it doesn't really affect me. Um, with the guys that are going to be running just Xfinity, I mean, it could be an opportunity just to get yourself pushed up to the next level. Show what you can do in a different type of car. Because as we all know, these cars drive completely different from each series. So between the Xfinity and the Cup, two different cars. If they can go in, they can get top fives in Xfinity, go in Cup and get top fives in Cup, or pull out a top 10 in Cup. I mean, you're turning heads at that point in my eyes. So it's a big step for somebody, and it's a good opportunity for them. So I do like it.
Uh-oh.
Oh, looky
Hold
there.
up.
We got Speedy just in time.
I was just going for his team owner spot since he was going to miss.
Look at that.
What's up, boys?
Hey,
How you
Speedy,
doing,
welcome to the-
Speedy?
Good. Sorry. Running late.
Hey, it happens.
All good. We're glad you can make it.
Yeah, man.
Well,
I'm just trying
with-
to race back here so I can get on.
Well, you got here at the
Well,
right time
with,
with the Q&A session, so...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was
Little pop-up
listening
question
in. So.
for you. So,
It's a nice, sexy
how do
flannel
you
shirt
feel
you got
about the
there.
hot seats?
Do what?
Well, you said you've been listening, so how do you feel about the hot seats and how they'll improve through the league or make Xfinity drivers reach for something?
I love it. I mean, just like Trickle was saying, it just kind of adds a whole new level. I think the big thing here is to keep guys active and keep them wanting to stay relevant in the league in some way, shape, or form. You know, it seems like when you're recruiting, you're going for the guys that want to run Xfinity because you put it out there, hey, we're looking for Xfinity drivers. However, there's always a chance to run Cup. Now, whether or not some of those guys want to run Cup, that's fine as well. If they just want to run Xfinity, but guys that want to move up will have that chance to, and it keeps guys active and, like I said, want to be relevant in the league. So it's awesome. I highly doubt there's a whole lot of other leagues out there that do something like that. So I think it kind of keeps it new and just something different for our league.
Okay.
Hell yeah. So, on to the next question here. Who has the best team and who has the sleeper team from the draft?
I'm gonna go right out and say it. For me, it's between Rowdy and NASCAR. Dude, it is tough to beat a Samo, a JP, an MB. I mean, Josh part-time in there, you know.
Yeah, and
Golly,
you
like,
take,
Yeah.
you even take the Josh factor out of there, you know, because
Yeah.
he's not able to run every race. That's still a solid team. NASCAR did a good job watching who was being took off the board, and when it came his turn, he made sure, you know, he picked a great team with, like you said, Samo's a front running car, JP's a front running car, MB's up there, you know, so he's got a stout team, you know, and that's before you even throw in the part timer. Your team, the way that you and Trickle work so well together, you know, everybody that's on your team is going to benefit from that relationship, that bonding that y'all have. And I know for a fact y'all's going to work with everybody. So y'all's team, I feel, is going to be a good team. And Rowdy's always going to have a good team because Rowdy's a great team leader. So,
well, and he's got Trigon, Reb, Mike, Ford, you know, all pretty damn good drivers. We all know how good Reb is, and we've all started to see how good Trigon is too. He's a controller kid, but I mean, he can wheel a car with those joysticks. It's impressive. It reminds me of Shiesty from last season, with Shiesty being on a controller. Trigun is always up front. So yeah, his team will be a force to be reckoned with. I mean, Shiesty's got some good guys as well, Bames and Wolfie, and Wolfie is a lot like maybe a beer stick. Wolfie has come a long way. Beer stick is on our team, and that's a guy that ever since the new game dropped, he's been over here running, and he's freaking running up front pretty consistently. So part of the reasons why I picked him, I picked my guys based off of who I think's going to mesh well with us, and going to get on in practice. I'm hoping Beer Stick gets on more this time around than he did last season. But I know I surprised a lot of guys with some of the picks. But let's switch it up. Me and Trickle are going to be on. Everybody knows how often we're on, and we'll be on there running laps and trying to get shit dialed in. And that's what I'm looking for. Guys that want to get on and practice and run as much as possible, not just show up for race time.
Well, what's crazy about all that too is you're going through all these teams and you're going through all these names, and any given race, you're going to see 3/4, if not close to all of them, battling for top 10 and up. Like, that's the crazy part about it. So on paper you may look stacked, but I mean, I think it's going to be wild.
We got to stack. This Cup team,
This whole roster
has a
is stacked.
roster. I said it last night in the draft show. There's at least 10 people that can go out there any week and possibly pick up a win, and then you add in some of the other ones. So this league is just stacked. And then I've been able to run over there with some of the Xfinity guys, and there's going to be there's a stacked group over there as well. I touched on it. With EMC and some of the other guys. They are some strong guys over there. I'm worried about season 2 and them coming up to the Cups, because they're gonna really shine when I feel that there's some of them that's going to come up here in season 2 and they're just going to knock the socks off people.
I hope so, and I hope so by season 2 we'll have another 10 drivers that are running with us as religiously.
You wasn't in here, but I sat there and said earlier, the Xfinity, that's the future of this league. As new guys come in and they're going through the Xfinity series, their ultimate goal is making it to the Cup series and all. And as us older Cup guys decide to, take different roles in the league and maybe step away from driving on a regular basis and all that, they're the ones that's going to fill those roles. So I look forward to the future of this league.
Yeah, let's just let's keep it going good and keep these wheels turning. On a recruiting aspect, I kind of look at it as a revolving door. There's a lot of guys that'll come, there will be a lot of guys that go. But if we can continue to just keep bringing guys in and sifting through the bad to get to the good, I've said this a number of different times. It seems like you got to go through 10 guys to get to that one good guy. But when you get that good guy, that's what it's all about. Get a guy that wants to run and have fun with us and get in and run clean and respectful. So, which,
it's like the diamond theory. In every 20 pieces of coal, you might find one diamond in the mist.
Yeah. I think we've gotten lucky, though. I feel like we do have a good few guys that I have noticed that have a lot of potential to, get on. I mean, Heavy D right out of the gate, he's been active in the chat asking who's running. He's been on every night, and that's the kind of shit that I want to see.
Well, before we get too deep down this rabbit hole here, I've got one more question for Speedy and Trickle. So, as we know, Speedy and Dark Horse Motorsports took Trickle in the first overall round. That was a mouthful. Sorry. What does the thought process, or what was the thought process between taking him or Samo there?
Okay, well, the thought process is, I mean, plain and simple. Trickle's my boy. He's a guy that I know is going to get on with me at any given point and run as late as I'll run. You know, he's just, we mesh. We'll get on and talk about strategy and you know what to do in the pits and you know different setups and everything, and we're always on doing it. You know, so that's somebody that I want to team up with and try to get this figured out. Are any of us lights out fast? Absolutely not. I mean, I don't. None of us are Samo or you know, some of these other guys. Maybe a JP. You know, we're not always. We're not going to be the favorites in as many races. But I think with strong work ethic and as much as we get on in practice, we're going to give those guys a run for their money. And I needed a good partner, somebody that I know I can count on to get on there with me and get shit figured out. And he's really good about doing that. So that's where I was coming from. A lot of people are like, oh, Samoa's going to get first pick. Not in my eyes. I'm looking for more than just speed and wins. You know, even if we don't get a win all season long, I just want to be competitive. And I would like all of us to, you know, be getting top fives, you know, and I know that's not going to happen, but you know, you look at Charton, you know, he's a new guy, you know, but he's consistently showed me that he could be, you know, a top 5 car in any given track. So, going back to back to Truck, man, I got a lot of faith in him, obviously. I've paid him a lot of money to come over here and run for me, so he better fucking perform.
Gay.
Well, Trickle, how do you feel about being picked first overall?
Like I said, I had a sneaky suspicion. I mean, I tried to stay out of it as much as possible. Obviously, trying to structure the league with NEP, and I didn't want to give any insight to any owners or any like. I just tried to stay out of it. I had a sneaky suspicion only because we are always on together. Um, but I knew if he went that route, it was going to shape the team in a different way. And I also think that the way the team did get shaped out, I think it is going to benefit, especially with what Nep was talking about. It's a points-based system. It's not a win and you're in. If we can get 4 guys that are running consistently, and let's say we can, even get 4 guys in the top 10 every other week or every third week, and we just can have consistent points. Maybe we can have all 4 of us sneak into the playoffs, and then at that point, who knows what happens, right? So, yeah, I mean, hopefully I perform for him, but like I said, I don't want to put too much pressure on myself because this field is stacked.
As long as
100%.
don't steal another stage wins from you.
Oh yeah, let's not give him
After
that.
saying he's content at that.
Well, I mean, if it comes down to it, racing's racing, right? I mean, second is just as good as
I'm
first if you're
content with, hey
behind me.
man, I'm content
There
with
it
the
is.
1-2 at Daytona. I'm content with it, buddy. Turn
Yeah.
4, I just hear a giggle and he's past me.
Heads up, Speedy. Rooster done said taking Speedy out first turn, first race.
Yeah.
Well, I'm getting
The
kind of
enforcer.
eager for this next segment, boys, and I'm going to shoot it over here to Josh.
Thanks, man. All right. I want to have fucking fun. I'm here to have fun. Temple's Drama-Rama. I am going to be on top of all this shit every single week. Like I said earlier, I'm going to review it. We're going to talk about it. Nep also gave a great idea. Even if people got some beef, they want to come on and settle it, I'm here for it. So, without further ado, let's hop into the first thing.
Temple.
The first thing I want us to go into, Speedy and his fucking screen. Speedy, hopefully for this league it's fixed, but Lord have mercy if I hear or see anything about we didn't touch, not on my side, I'm going to blow a top off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not the only one that has that
Y-
issue.
yeah,
So
good. I'll be there for it. I'm gonna be there listening. Just remember that. Um,
yep.
but move on to the next thing. The thing that really grabbed my attention this week, and I know Nep didn't want to touch on it much. I'm gonna. Reb and Samo button heads. Now this one's interesting to me. Um, Reb's a good guy. I mean, I don't think Reb's a dick or anything like that, but I know how passionate Samo is. And when I heard that those two got into it, I was like, oh shit. And it was a pre-race race, and to already see stuff firing off like that, man, I know how well Samo can get in someone's head. So I don't know if it's Samo planting the seed to start that, or it's just gonna be a feud that's gonna get worse as the season progresses. That's gonna be two drivers I'm gonna be watching very close. That's gonna be fun for me to watch. Um, the whole solution to whatever's going on: keep it civil, keep it clean, don't wreck each other, don't take each other out, don't throw a door on each other on purpose. Just race each other hard and just know in each other's heads that you don't like each other. Go for the gusto, fucking race each other hard. Have fun, man. Enjoy it. Don't take it as hard anymore. Well, don't take it as serious, but at least keep the whole level up between each other and really race it out. That's what I would do in this situation. Um, but yeah, so that's all I'm gonna touch on with them. You guys, I'm watching
I
this. My eyes are planted on this season.
I will say, I have gotten confirmation on that situation. MB, our owner, has took 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 the time to sit down with both guys, and as of they pretty much patched things up. So hopefully, moving forward, the big picture. There's a reason why the rearview mirror is so small and the windshield is so much bigger. You know,
Mm.
hopefully they both can reach up there, take the rearview mirror, and just throw it in the back of the car and just focus on moving forward. Um, and that goes for anybody in the league. It's a competitive sport, and people will get into you here and there. And the best aspect is to after the race, don't get into a big blowout argument in the live in a live race and all that, because there are people in there that's kind of trying to concentrate so they can have a good finish and all that. So try to hold off, wait till after the race. By all means, get with one of the committee members and all, and let's just hash this out. Put that race behind you and move on to greener pastures. So, but it's going to be interesting to see how things perspire. Come Monday night.
In all seriousness,
But back to you.
I want this race
I would
feud
like
to
to
stay
add.
there all
Oh,
season. I
Are
don't
we
want to see
sweating?
it. I don't want to see it go anywhere else. I want to see that there, just like with Speedy in past seasons with Samo in another league that exploded and is done. I want to see this feud. I just want it to be a racing feud. I don't want it to go anywhere else. I can see this being crazy because they're around each other a lot, and that's going to be something to really keep an eye on.
Yeah, well, there's usually a lot of clean racing between a lot of us, but then one instance might happen, and then it just fucking ruins everything.
well, what guys have to
Like
realize too is the mechanics in this game are not. I mean, it's great. It's great in certain aspects, but in other aspects, I mean, the way we're trying to race each other hard, it is so easy to spin people. Like, guys, we're gonna have to realize that, like, yeah, at the end of the day, it's a game, and we're coming together to put. We're putting a lot of work into this to get people to come out and enjoy racing with one another. Whatever happens, just I get it. Let it be. I mean, we're not making money on it. We're not pros.
I'll tell you
You
what,
know, we-
all that I look for, if somebody gets into me and spins me or hits me or something, is just, hey man, sorry. Maybe I messed up, or I didn't know. My apologies.
The problem
There's been a
is
lot
that
of
being continuous. If that's a problem and that the same person keeps doing the same thing, even if it's to multiple
That's where the
people, that's not going to change. You are now going to be public enemy number one. No pun intended.
well,
in the league.
Ideally, well, the key thing is in that situation, that's where that's where the committee steps in, and we review after every race. And we sit there, and if there's an issue with somebody, by all means, that's going to be topic number one that we're going to talk about in our weekly meetings and all that. And because we don't we don't want the races to turn into shit shows. We want good racing, fun racing, competitive, but we don't want wreckfest.
And I don't think you're going to have that
So
between these two. You're just going to see
no,
these two race
it's
each
like
other
with me and
closer.
Reb. The only time I ever see Reb is when he's lapping me. But the good thing with me and Reb, we live an hour apart from each other. So if it really got too bad, we can always meet in Concord and have a beer or an MMA match, whichever one comes first.
Well, yeah, to that too. I mean, we're gonna if you go, we're gonna have eyes on the track. We're gonna see a lot, and people are not afraid to say like that guy's being a douche. And if they are, and it's a continuous thing, well, then maybe we hand out a few race suspensions and have Xfinity drivers fill in hot seats. That's what the whole that's part of it, right? We're gonna make it the best we can. We just got to make it what we're gonna make it and go forward.
Yeah, if
not, we're gonna have toxicity and it'll fail.
If it becomes any type of hint of any type of bullshit, I mean, by all means, do what you guys gotta do. But if it's gonna be just a normal racing feud and nothing crazy's going on, let that shit ride. It's gonna make stuff more intense.
100%.
Yes.
Right.
The last one I got for my segment, Lekille is trying to be the rookie of the year in the Xfinity series. I am coming for that ass. I am coming for that ass.
VOTY, Veteran of the Year.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, a rookie that's not necessarily really a rookie.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is my first time ever being in the league. Thank you very much.
You need to change. You gotta come in and under an alias, sir.
Oh, trust me. Someone told me and said I should have changed my whole PSN around. I was like, fuck, I should have. But yeah, new beginnings. I'm coming for that fucking ROTY there. Lekille.
It's Lekille. Is that Lekille?
That is Lekille. That is a picture of him 21 hours ago.
That is not what I expected.
He
Neither
is
is
an
it.
animal. He is going to fucking fuck shit up.
But and I would say this about Lekille. He's been there almost every practice, almost every prelim race. He's there. So he's in the Xfinity series, but the one thing about him, he didn't take it as a demotion by going to the Xfinity series. He took it as a goal to improve his ability so that he can make it to the Cup Series. So, I have seen from that league that we won't mention to now, I have seen a whole different Lekille. So I look forward to seeing what he's going to be capable of doing, even if I've got to mail him a CPAP machine while he races.
Hey, his name was Lekille for a little bit, so I'm glad that's cleaning up. But yeah, that's enough for my segment. Moving on to the next one, I'll throw it back over to Nep, and we'll keep it going.
Oh boy, I got to get over to that. Basically, let's just give you a rundown of this week's action. This Sunday kicks off season 1, qualifying for both Cups and Xfinity, and then following qualifying, I touched on this earlier, but with the Xfinity series at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and then come Monday and Tuesday night, we're over in the Cup series. Monday night, we're going to be running at Michigan, and then Tuesday night we will be running at Iowa. So 2 different tracks, different track styles. So it's going to be interesting there. So I look forward to it.
Speedy and or Trickle, any more comments before we wrap this up?
Speedy wears the dress, not me. I saw
I'm
the
sorry.
comments.
What's that?
Any more questions or comments before we wrap this up?
No. I mean, I'm sure, but no, not at the moment. I'm just ready for a new season and excited to see what's going to happen here. And I wish the best for everybody. And let's get some good, clean, respectful racing going on, and let's just get on and have some fun.
I got one more thing. I am fucking hyped that we are back, boys. Racing, the show, all of it. Let's
Been a little
fucking
bit of
go.
hiatus, but yeah, it's nice to have it back. It's part of our
Yeah,
lives.
when we
Only if you bring your cat, Shiesty.
yeah when we start
Fuck that
when this league,
motherfucker.
you know, when this league started up over a month ago, and with the holiday, we probably would have been started already, but with the holidays, we just played through and all that. I think the league's better that we did wait the few weeks and did the preliminary races and stuff like that, and got through the holidays. But now it's a new year, new season, and most importantly, it's a whole new league, guys.
Yeah, I think it worked out great with us having kind of, a downtime to get through the holidays and enabled people to kind of get on and practice. And then just kind of reset and get everything set for a brand new league. I think between all the league owners and committee and everybody, they've really done a good job getting everything dialed in, all the way down from the rules to the hot seat to everything. So I really think it's going to be good. And then with all of our new guys that are coming in, well, and we've lost a few guys already, but that's okay. We're gaining good drivers, and it's going to be fun to see what happens. So, got some crazy shit going on.
Josh,
Yes.
before you click to this last slide,
Yes.
I think this is something we all three know what's on this last slide. And being the comic book theme that we did over here, I feel it only suits it perfect with the last screen. As usually we would do the closing credits and all that, which we all know. The co-host Shiesty, myself, host Josh Temple. But Shiesty, are you ready?
I'm fucking ready.
Are we doing this on the count
Let's
of three?
fucking go.
Josh, are you ready?
Are we doing it on three?
We're doing it on 3.
All right, I'm
1,
ready.
2, 3.
To be continued.
Everybody have a good night, and we will catch you next week.